Is it standard operating procedure in your Department of Justice for prosecutors to allow the statute of limitations to expire on very serious crimes when the potential defendant has already agreed to an extension?
So there, as I said before, there's no standard operating procedure here.
Maybe there should be. Well, if this is an oversight hearing, maybe there should be. Maybe you should adopt standard operating procedures to avoid this kind of a circumstance. Would you agree?
No.
Okay.
Because it's left
According
to
to
the
one of the
discretion
IRS,
of...
You've answered my question, thank you. According to one of the IRS whistleblowers, quote, the purposeful exclusion of the 2014 and 2015 tax years sanitized the most substantive criminal conduct and concealed material facts, end quote. How can Americans trust an investigation run by a special counsel who, by allowing the statute of limitations to expire, irreversibly, quote, sanitized the most substantive criminal conduct and concealed material facts?
The prosecutor in question is an experienced veteran career prosecutor who was appointed by
And we have no reason to trust him, do we?
By President Trump.
Okay. How much in terms of taxes would Hunter Biden have owed on the $1 million he was paid by Burisma?
Well, as you can imagine, since I don't know anything about the facts of the case, I can't answer
Probably
that
about
question.
$400,000. Isn't that right? I mean, you can do the math. You know the tax code.
I don't know anything about the facts of this case, so I'm not able to do the math to apply it to
And
facts
by failing to pay the taxes on those ill-gotten gains, what would the typical penalty have been, for example, if it was someone who didn't have the last name of Biden or a D behind their name?
I'm sorry. These are all questions you'll have to direct to Mr. Weiss, and that Mr. Weiss will address in his final...
By allowing the statute of limitations to lapse, did Mr. Weiss effectively gift the tax money Hunter Biden owed for the 2014 and 2015 tax years to Mr. Biden?
To say again, the decisions about whether in this area and whether these allegations are correct are ones that Mr. Weiss will be able to answer.
Mr. Garland, one of the things you have done over and repeated over and over and over again is that to point out that Mr. Weiss was appointed as U.S. Attorney by President Trump,
yes,
as though that somehow inoculates him from criticism by us. Is that really how this game is played? That if someone is appointed by a Republican, then they're supposed to be on the Republican team? Or if they're appointed by a Democrat, they're on the Democrat team? You were appointed by Mr. Biden, weren't you? Are you on the Democrat team?
Let me just be clear. The point of that he was appointed by a Republican counteracts the claim that this was a partisan decision to benefit Democrats.
He remained as a member of the Department of Justice.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr.
Chairman.
Time the gentlelady has expired.
It's sad, but I'm almost sick of talking about the Hunter Biden and the expired statute of limitations and listening to the people in Washington who run cover for Joe Biden just sort of shill. And that's AG Garland. By the way, you're still never going to be a Supreme Court justice, so ha ha. Anyway, look that one up if you don't know about it. I cannot deal with the fact that the now special counsel and the prosecutor and first of all, we all know who they are. But when they say that he was a Trump appointee, two points. One, that isn't really true. Okay, he was a blue slip. Again, look it up. Trump knew that he couldn't get rid of him. The state of Delaware, everyone's a Democrat across the book. Basically, Trump said, whatever. But he didn't say, I endorse this guy. He's a great man. I'm on board. But what Harriet Hageman said that makes an even better, stronger point that I'm making is so, by you saying that he was appointed by Donald Trump, you're appointed by Joe Biden, so we should be basically someone who is in a judicial capacity and a legal capacity loyal to our party. I thought that was a really good point that she was making. Well, you were appointed by Biden. We clearly know where your loyalties lie. And if you go back to these gun charges that Hunter is facing now in Delaware, when people say, oh, no one's above the law, yeah, Hunter's above the law because these gun charges are the only charges that don't implicate Joe Biden. That's why they cherry picked him. That's why they let the statute of limitations expire on the felony tax charges. And if you hit him with the gun stuff, you pretend like you've had justice, but all you're doing is saving Joe Biden. We live in the most corrupt country. When people talk about Putin being corrupt, Putin, I was like, I don't know how Russia is any more corrupt than our country. I'm going to leave you with that one.